Let's say China.
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 There are next-door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
You go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump's fake tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Hello. It is me, James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened. Very possibly the only news you will need today if you live in a very solitary place where you don't have the internet, television or newspapers. Anyway, it is Monday, the 8th of May, 2017. And today, Sally Yates is testifying at Congress right now as I'm recording this. So I'm sort of keeping one eye on that and one eye on what I was going to talk about originally. So today's testimony from the ex-Attorney General Sally Yates and ex-CIA Director James Clapper really do have the eyes of the entire world on them. Today they're going to testify what Russian interference took place during the election and if they know if there was any collusion between Russia and the Trump administration. Now, James Clapper has already said that the Russians exceeded their wildest expectations in US election hack. So today's testimony is a very big deal and all eyes are on it, and unfortunately it's going to be going on throughout the afternoon, so it's going to be tomorrow before we actually get to talk about that, unless something magic happens and we have our second ever piece of breaking news on So This Happened. But one thing I do want to talk about in relation to Sally Yates is, and I really don't want to steal Trump Vader's thunder, I don't know what tweet he wants to read later when he comes on, but I do want to read one of Donald Trump's tweets from this morning because it sort of has a bearing on this case. And anyway, I'm going to read it, and if Trump Vader wanted to read this one, I apologise, he'll have to come up with another. God knows there are many to choose from. But this morning, Donald Trump tweeted out, ask Sally Yates under oath if she knows how classified information got into the newspapers soon after she explained it to White House counsel. Now, this tweet has raised a lot of eyebrows. People are saying, is he leading the witness? Other people are saying, as sitting president of the United States of America, you cannot say something like that. Essentially, what he's insinuating, perhaps, is that Sally Yates was the person who leaked those documents. Donald's never been known to be subtle, but even by his standards, this tweet, it seems a little bit, I want to say too far, but we've said, oh, that tweet's too far many times by Donald Trump. But this one really does seem like the President of the United States of America is accusing the ex-Attorney General of wrongdoing. Now, we've seen Donald Trump use this sort of deflection many times before. When he feels that something is going to come out that may not make him look great, he starts to discredit whoever is going to say that. And that definitely seems like what's going on here. He's discrediting Sally Yates in the idea, or the mind, of his followers. And as we talked about a few episodes ago, a lot of Donald Trump's supporters only listen to him. That's the only news they get. So already he's discrediting Sally Yates. So if today something comes out which makes Trump look worse, his supporters will say, yeah, but she's not a reliable source. She was Barack Obama's friend in his pocket. She's a Democratic surrogate. And again, we're seeing Donald Trump do what he's done so many times before. He's taking the focus off the actual issue, which is Russian collusion with the Trump administration, onto leaks in the media, the fake news, as he likes to call it. So this is a tactic that we've seen Donald Trump use many times in the past. And I suspect he'll keep using it many times in the future. It works well for him and it works well for his supporters. He's the anti-establishment guy, the chap that stands up for the people who are not the elite. What the hell does elite mean anyway? I don't feel very elite, but I'm sure most of his supporters would say, oh, you're elite, you went to university, you have a degree. I don't mind being elite, actually. Yeah, I'll take it, it's quite good. So, and now in news that makes me really excited, and it really only makes me excited because it now gives me a legitimate reason to pick on my favourite punching bag, Eric Trump. It came out today that Eric Trump confessed to the fact that the Russians basically funded the building of a number of Trump golf courses. This was something that happened back in 2014 when Eric Trump was playing a round of golf with James Dodson. James Dodson is a golf writer, and they were playing at the Trump National Golf Club in Charlotte in North Carolina, lovely part of the world. Mr. Dodson told a radio station that Eric Trump sort of bragged about the idea that the Trumps had access to $100 million, and when Dodson sort of pushed him on this, Trump replied, well, we don't rely on American banks. We have all the funding we need out of Russia. And then Eric continued, oh yeah, we've got some guys that really, really love golf and they're really invested in our programs. We just go there all the time. Now, Eric Trump has come out now and said, oh, that's garbage. It never happened that way. Not true. But I think it probably is true, isn't it? And so Eric Trump, the man who was desperately trying to win his dad's attention, just completely fucked it up by leaking this little bit of information. So Eric Trump, go sit down, you antelope murdering twat. Your dad dislikes you even more right now. In fact, I think your forgettable sister Tiffany might be liked a little bit more than you right now. And of course now, we are going to turn our attention to France, where, as everybody knows, the elections were held yesterday. And thankfully, Emmanuel Macron was victorious by a significant 65% of the vote. It's a good day for France, it's a good day for Europe. But the question remains, and I want to try and answer this in the next few minutes, who is Emmanuel Macron? He's a 39-year-old ex-investment banker. He was previously the French Minister of Economy, Industry and Digital Affairs. Now, in August of 2016, Macron quit the government to form his own party, En Marche, or On the Move. Now, he has been slightly criticised for using the name En Marche because the initials EM are the same as his initials, Emmanuel Macron. People said, oh, it's a very egotistical thing to do. He claims absolutely not. Nothing at all to do with ego, it's just the name he chose. And as everybody also knows, Macron is famous for marrying his high school sweetheart. But of course his high school sweetheart was also his teacher, Brigitte. She taught him French and drama, and she was married at the time, mother of 3. And they fell in love and got married 2007. She plays a very hands-on role in Macron's affairs, and we should expect to see her probably get some sort of position within the new government. Controversies? Yeah, there have been a few. The most prevalent one is a controversy that the couple keep refuting, even though it keeps cropping up, and that is that Emmanuel had a homosexual affair. The rumour keeps popping up, they keep squishing it down. What's the truth? Who cares? But what is important is, what does Macron stand for? And he has insisted time and time again that he's neither of the left or the right, but purely for France. In his book, which was published last November, called The Revolution, he described himself as both left-wing and a liberal. His policies are very pro-business, but on social issues, he is firmly on the left. When he unveiled his manifesto in March of last year, Macron said that he hoped to entice British businesses and banks to relocate to Paris. He promised a substantial reduction in corporate tax. He's a staunch Europhile. He wants to reduce public spending by 60 billion euros and then cut 120,000 public sector jobs. Now, he's also vowed to get very tough on unemployment benefits for those who repeatedly turn down jobs that they are offered. On immigration, Macron has promised to attract skilled immigrants to France by shortening the visa application progress, promoting talent visas, and financing programs to help immigrants become more fluent in French. And on security and military issues, Macron is in favour of strengthening EU borders, but he suggests that France's policies have unfairly targeted Muslims. He also wants to increase military spending in France, and he is in favour of intervening in Syria. Now, on other issues, some other social issues, he's a little more hazy. There's not much information out there about him. So we know for a fact that he is better than Marine Le Pen. 100%. What we don't know is exactly what Emmanuel Macron stands for. So, in a nutshell, what does he do? What does he stand for? Well, we know he's pro-European Union. We know he's in favour of strengthening the EU's borders, but not unfairly victimising Muslim immigrants. We know that he wants to make France more business friendly, and we also know that he wants to increase defence spending. There's a lot of unanswered questions there for me, and I congratulate him. I truly do. I think he's pulled off a wonderful coup here, becoming a man who's never been elected to office, much like Donald Trump, to becoming the president of a country. And it does show that the people of France, like the people of America, were crying out for some sort of change. I hope the change they get is the change they want. Only time will tell. And so there, in a nutshell, is Emmanuel Macron, a man we here at So This Happened wish a great deal of luck to. And I have just noticed that in the little window here in the studio, Trump Vader is, well, he can't see through the window, so all I'm seeing is he jumps up and his head just keeps appearing in the window. It's like a little whack-a-mole. He's popping up and down. So, Trump Vader, come in. Yep, come on in. Hey, here he is. Lovely to see you. How are you doing? Oh, he's angry with me. Why? Oh, he was the tweet that I read earlier. That was the tweet he'd picked out. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. In my defense, I didn't know. Anyway, come on over here. Read your tweet to everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Trump Vader.
General Flynn was given the highest security clearance by the Obama administration, but the fake news seldom likes to talk about that.
That's interesting. Well, would you consider me fake news, Trump Vader? He's sort of shrugging. He's not saying no, but he's not saying yes either. So do you want to talk about it now? You don't. He doesn't really want to. You don't want to talk about it. All right. Oh, he just wants. He's doing the seal, the clapping. He just wants a round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Trump Vader his round of applause because you know how much he loves it. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump Vader. He's rather happy with that one. Now he's gone off. Yep, he was very, very happy with that. So, Trump Vader just had a little tweet about Michael Flynn. And in that tweet, he suggested that Barack Obama is responsible for anything that Michael Flynn may have done because he was vetted by the Obama administration. Let's take a look at that, shall we? And it's particularly interesting because today it just came out that the Obama administration had actually warned Donald Trump about Michael Flynn, about hiring him. Now, it is true that Michael Flynn worked for the Trump administration and that he had been given security clearance by the Obama administration. However, Michael Flynn was fired by the Obama administration in 2014, and it was largely because of mismanagement and temperament issues. So even knowing that, the Trump administration went forward and gave Michael Flynn the extremely high position in the government, and the only one that did not require confirmation by the Senate, it should be noted. Now, Michael Flynn did have security clearance. But from what I believe, the security clearance that he had was nowhere near as stringent as a security clearance one would get if they were going to have a high-level position within the White House. The higher level security clearance would go into financial records, into any relationships that Michael Flynn had, all of these things. None of this was done. And I think what's happening now is because the Trump administration, Donald Trump, realizes that he made a huge mistake, he's now backing up and saying, well, wait a second, it was Barack Obama. He was the man who gave Michael Flynn security clearance, even though we now know that the Obama administration said, don't hire Michael Flynn, he's a liability. And then the Trump administration did not do a sufficient security clearance on Michael Flynn. And unfortunately, it looks like we are at the end of our show today. We'll be back tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter at SoThisHappened. And if you like what we're doing, please subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you're listening to this. And folks, have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful day, and I will chat with you tomorrow. Goodbye.